I was going to start filming this video, but I feel like I look a little bit naked with my hair down, so let's put our hair up because it's not going to be that type of page today. Anywho, if you are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Kailin and I post videos mainly about eating disorder recovery and intuitive eating. So if that's something that you're interested in, I would love for you to click onto that subscribe button down below and become part of our little family. But today's video topic is something I'm really excited about because we are going to be talking about body kindness, about optimism, on how to really change your mindset and speak to yourself in a kind way. I think that that's one of the biggest questions that I get asked is just how to change your mindset, how to stop thinking so negatively, how to actually treat yourself with kindness. So we are going to be talking about all of that today. So buckle up, kiddos, and let's get started. But when you treat others with compassion and others with kindness, it usually strengthens your relationship with those individuals, right? If you are cruel to somebody, your relationship with them is not going to be strong. If anything, it's going to be quite toxic. So when you practice kindness and compassion with others, you strengthen your relationship. And when you practice it with yourself, you also strengthen your relationship that you have with yourself, which is the most important relationship of your entire life, is the one you have with yourself, because it influences not only how you treat yourself, of course, but also how you treat other people. When you talk kindly to yourself, you will also increase your self-esteem. You'll become a lot more secure with yourself, and overall, you are going to be happier. So the first thing that we are going to be talking about in general is body kindness. That is going to be our focus right now. Practicing body kindness is something that is important for everyone. It doesn't matter if you've never had an eating disorder or if you don't have any sort of disordered relationship with your body or exercise or whatever it might be. Body kindness is a tool that everybody should practice, no matter their history, no matter their gender, anything like that. Everyone in this world has been unkind to their body at some point to varying degrees. And sometimes we are self-deprecating to ourselves or self-deprecating to our body, or we talk down to ourselves and we don't even realize it. So sometimes we also even externalize those thoughts. So an example could be, oh my God, I look so bad in this. Or, oh my God, my skin looks horrible today. Or, oh my God, my hair is so ugly and uneven. There's so many things that we could possibly say. Some people verbalize their insecurities and other people keep it inside, right? And all of that negative self-talk is up here. And maybe you even put forward a persona that you are confident, that you love yourself, and then deep down inside, you're so critical and so cruel. Both of these situations are just as detrimental for your self-esteem and for your relationship with yourself. So there are many different ways that we can actually practice body kindness. And first things first, let's go over some physical things that we can do when it comes to treating our body kindly. The first thing is listening to your hunger cues. Eat when you are hungry and respect your limits, and also understand that we're human and sometimes we eat past the point of comfort. That doesn't mean that you're not intuitively eating properly. It doesn't mean that you're done something wrong or you have to atone for it. It's normal, okay? But most of the time we want to try listening to those hunger cues, honoring our hunger and respecting our body and its limitations. Another way that you can practice body kindness is resting. Take the rest when you need it, and also request from other people or let other people know when or if you need time on your own. If you are constantly saying yes to everything, that's probably not a choice that you're making for yourself, and it's probably a choice that you're making for other people. When it comes to body kindness, you have to be your #1 priority before anyone else. Something else that we gotta do is hydrate yourself, okay? Your body needs water, you need water, so everyone, let's go take a sip of water, why don't we? I already feel better. If you are also somebody who does punitive workouts, you gotta stop that. Either take a break from your workouts or try to reframe movement through a more joyful lens, like joyful movement, versus like more regimented exercise. I do have a video about joyful movement, which I'm going to link below. But when it does come to body kindness, it's not just about the things that we do physically, but also the things that we do mentally up here in that beautiful mind of yours. An example of this could be starting your day with positive affirmations or affirmative sentences that just set you off on the right foot. And at first you might not believe these statements. You might actually think it's a little bit cheesy or a little bit cliche to start your day with statements saying, I'm strong, I'm beautiful, I'm wonderful, I'm smart. You haven't practiced saying it though. So at first it's going to feel strange because when you do anything for the first time or you're used to talking to yourself like in a more negative way, these positive things, you're not going to resonate with them at first. They're going to sound silly. It's going to feel like they don't work. Trust the process. Say these statements for a month straight every single morning and see how you actually feel by the end of those 30 days. I used to be somebody who was a little bit pessimistic and somebody who definitely thought that these statements and affirmations were kind of a load of bullshit. And boy, did I ever prove myself wrong. So if you also want to prove yourself wrong, give it a go. What is the risk? There's none. So let's start today. Let's say 3 affirmations together, okay? I'm gonna say mine, you pause the video and you say yours, okay? Okay. I am confident, I am creative, and I'm a really damn good cook. There we go. I don't know what this was, but there we go. Another way to treat yourself with body kindness is to set boundaries. And an example of one of my biggest boundaries is no body talk and no diet talk, and I have that boundary with everybody who is in my life. So think of your boundaries and set them. But with some of these things being said, one of the things that we want to be careful for is the toxic positivity mindset, where you always have to be positive, or where you always love yourself, or you always have to look on the bright side. And that is not the road I want any of us to go down. It's not the road that I'm on, that I believe in at all. We should not ignore our negative emotions or negative thoughts or pretend that they're not there. However, they have to be fair. And when they're not fair, which is most of the time, we have to fight against them. We have to address them. We have to tell them that they're wrong. We have to replace them with new thoughts or new ideas. And so our goal is not to be happy all the time. I'm not happy all the time, okay? I don't know anyone who is. And if somebody pretends to be happy all of the time, they're lying to you. Because happiness is only happiness if we feel sadness at some points. If not, it's just a standard state that we're in. So we have a goal, and our goal is not to suppress our negative emotions, but it's also not to exaggerate them. I see so many people, and again, my past self included, I'm looping myself in this group, who just throw themselves a pity party. And when something goes wrong, they try to find a million other things that are wrong with their life just as proof that they are a failure, proof that they suck, proof that they're ugly, proof for whatever it might be. Stop throwing yourself a pity party. You're allowed to feel bad for yourself, absolutely, but don't let it derail your entire day. Focus on the actual issue that's at hand or whatever emotion you have going right now, but don't try to pick up a bunch of evidence from the past and use it as ammunition for one negative thought that you have in one day. Okay, so we're not trying to exacerbate it, we're not trying to exaggerate it, but we're also not trying to suppress it. We're trying to face it head on. And the goal of mindfulness and being kind to yourself, as I mentioned before, is not eradicating these negative emotions. It's allowing them to exist, but also giving yourself permission to let it go. Do not let them occupy more space than they deserve. And they do deserve your time, but they do not deserve all of your time. And having bad body image days where you look in the mirror and you hate what you see or you dislike what you see, that is going to happen no matter what your relationship with your body is. That happens to me post-recovery. I'll look in the mirror and I don't really like what I see. And that's not because of my body. It's because of my mind. And I'm aware of that now. And the important thing is to recognize that these days will happen, to accept that they will happen. And you are not a failure if they happen. Your body is not a failure. And pretending that these days don't happen is problematic. We want to address them and know that that's normal. But on days like this, what you do and what you say is so important. So if you look in the mirror and you don't like your body that day, and then you choose behaviors that promote you not liking your body, so an example of that would be not eating because you don't like what your body looks like. That action paired with that thought is not a body kindness action. We can still treat our bodies with kindness even if we don't like what our body looks like on a specific day. So if you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, a body kindness action would be to Look at the situation with a lens of compassion, to tell yourself that these days are normal, that they will happen, that your body hasn't changed overnight, and it's just your mind that is struggling that day. It's about trying to find small ways to get through your day instead of allowing that one moment to ruin your entire day and also cause you to make decisions that are harmful for your body, things like over-exercising, under-eating, etc. So if you're having a bad body image day, think of some compassionate things that you can do. You can read a book, you can go on a nice nature walk as long as your intention is with you and not with movement as a form of compensation. You can even ask for an extension on a paper if you're in school and you're really struggling. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Even something as simple as taking a nap can be a form of body kindness. And even if we're having a bad body image day, it doesn't mean that we don't deserve to eat. It doesn't mean that we don't deserve to experience joy and love and fun that day. If you are somebody who struggles with body image, and depending on how you feel about your body, if that dictates how you eat on said day, I would highly recommend mechanical eating, because that will probably be a more helpful tool for you. And I'm going to link my mechanical eating video in the description down below. So the next thing that we are going to be talking about is pessimism and negativity. Oftentimes I feel like pessimism and negativity are predictions of the future. So I'll give you a few examples. I'm never going to be successful. I'm never going to get my dream job. I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to find somebody who I love. All of those statements are you predicting the future. Are you a fortune teller? Do you have an oracle, or are you an oracle? What is an oracle? Is it a person or a thing? I don't know, but do you have either? Are you one of those? No. You know shit, just like I know shit, okay? And the stories you tell yourself are going to influence how you feel. If I wake up in the morning and I say, I'm gonna have a shitty day, I'm gonna be stressed, nobody likes me, and I'm gonna fail at my job, how am I going to have a good day if that's my mindset? If that's what I'm saying, how can I possibly have a good day? What you say matters. And so many people say that. I find that people don't do a lot of work when it comes to the way that they speak to themselves. And I see this with parents all the time, especially being super tough on themselves, and then children hearing that, and then children falling into the same patterns that their parents do. So if your parents talk negatively and you talk negatively, it is about time that you break that cycle. If not, it's going to continue and continue and continue. And like, even if you don't have kids or whatever, that rubs off on other people as well. Your friends and the people who are super important to you. Anyway, we don't know shit about the future. And if you're going to tell yourself made up stories, at least make those stories sound a little bit more like stories that you want to live. We don't know if we're gonna fail something, so why don't we just flip the script and say we're going to succeed? Why don't we say we're going to find our dream job? Why don't we say our love is out there, they're just not here right now? If you tell yourself that you fail before you even try something, you've already failed. You've already failed, and game is over then and there. Life is so unpredictable, and there's also so many things that are completely outside of our control. And if you have a history with disordered eating, a lot of the time we long for that control, myself included. Control is one of those things that I have a lot of difficulty letting go of. So when you find yourself getting caught up and being negative about things that you can't control, simply remind yourself that they are outside of your control, okay? Say you're gonna have a picnic with your friends and it starts pouring rain. What's the point of being negative about that? What's the point of complaining? What's done is done. And something else that really resonates with me is understanding that the future and your future is not guaranteed. This could literally be my last video that I ever make on YouTube. This could be my last day on earth. Why would I want to spend that time just hating myself and being negative about the world when I don't have to be? There are moments when we have to be negative, when we are negative, and that's okay. We're allowed to vent, we're allowed to share. But I know people who it's just their personality trait to complain about things, to be negative about themselves. And those things are not appealing to others or appealing to yourself, right? We don't want to spend time with people who are always negative, and you're going to not like your own company because of the environment that you've created on your own. And a lot of the time we just have to be aware of what happens, because we don't really choose to be negative on purpose. It's something that usually happens gradually and something that happens slowly. And then it's just something that we're kind of stuck in. And sometimes anxiety plays a huge role as well, because a lot of the time anxiety forces us to anticipate negative things or bad things happening to us. Or sometimes we go down a bunch of rabbit holes just to be prepared in case of X, Y, and Z, whatever it might be. I also see a lot of people say that they prepare themselves to be disappointed or to expect the worst so that then they're not disappointed. Life is going to be full of disappointments, and I'd rather have a positive outlook and be disappointed than just continuing to have this negative energy 24/7. But of course, anxiety makes it difficult to be mindful, and it also makes it difficult to be kind to yourself all the time. And practicing gratitude might seem forceful at first, but we also have to look at the other side. So when you're negative to yourself, right, and you start off being really cruel, at first that didn't come organically. We're not born into this world hating ourselves. We sort of were forced into that place. We were forced to have that dialogue in our mind or whatever it might be. Maybe we were forced by media, maybe we were forced by our parents, maybe we were forced by our elementary school bullies. That voice is not actually your own, but it's just sort of an accumulation of your anxieties as well as other things that people have told you that have hurt you in the past. And so there's going to be force on the other side when you're trying to repair your relationship with yourself. You're going to have to force yourself to say affirmations. You're going to have to force yourself to try to look on the positive side sometimes. And the reason that we do that is to start building our foundation back up. So try to picture it as like a pie chart. And most of that pie chart, 85% of it is negativity. And then we have 15%, me making sure my math is right, 15% of positivity. It's not a fair fight. And so in order for that pie chart to expand and for the positivity to expand and take up more space, you're going to have to water that section a little bit more. And you're not going to want to because you're so used to living in that negative space. So there will be force, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that it's not real. It doesn't mean that you'll never believe it. It doesn't mean that you are faking it. It's just how you got to start. And a great way to manage not only your anxiety, but to manage your feelings of negativity in general is to pinpoint those triggers of yours. We've all got different triggers. And then we have to decide if we should avoid certain triggers, if there's a boundary we can put in place, or perhaps we can remove these triggers completely depending on what they are. So an example of a removable trigger is a scale. If you own a scale, you step on it and it dictates your mood for the day, throw it out. Why are you letting your gravitational pull tell you whether or not you're a good person, whether or not you're attractive, whether or not you deserve to eat? Sounds like a load of bullshit to me. Let's talk about some other examples of triggers because I think that many people have difficulty pinpointing their own. A trigger could be doom scrolling on social media or in LinkedIn and comparing your success with the successes of others. That's not going to lead you anywhere positive, trust me. Maybe you feel worse about yourself after talking to a specific friend. This happened to me a lot of the time, and I actually got rid of my complete group of friends, and I was able to meet more friends and able to create friendships that were 10 million times more meaningful than those other friendships that just left me feeling icky after I left. Maybe another trigger you have is with a certain relative or somebody who doesn't respect your boundaries. TV shows could also be triggering, right? If you're watching a reality TV show where there's a bunch of celebrities who are dieting or exercising all of the time, and every time you watch it, you just feel shitty about your own body, what's the point of watching it? If you feel worse after, what's the point? Anyway, we went over negativity, we went over body kindness, and now I want to give some practical tips that you can try to include in your day-to-day life or hopefully build up to including. And the first thing is just being your own best friend, right? Ask yourself sometimes if you catch yourself in a negative space, just literally say the sentence out loud. Would I say this to a friend? Probably not. Try actually saying your negative thoughts out loud as well and hearing them. They're probably going to sound way meaner out loud than they do in that beautiful mind of yours. When you show yourself kindness, you're going to create a psychological safety space or safe psychological space in your mind. If your mind is not a safe place, you are never going to feel okay. So if you're struggling to deal with body anxiety, food anxiety, anxiety in general, when you're negative, this is what has to change. There's nothing that you could change. It doesn't matter if you dye your hair, cut your hair, lose weight, gain weight, doesn't matter. Your body image is not going to get better. Not unless you change what's going on up here. You have to believe that you deserve a happy, fulfilling, positive life. If you don't think that you deserve that, then it's something for you to work on as well, and also a reminder for you to say out loud, I deserve to live a life I want to live. Because you do. You deserve so many good things in this life. And I'm really, really sorry if you or somebody else has convinced you that you don't. You deserve to live, to love, to be loved just as much as anybody else. Okay? Something that helped me a lot was verbalizing my compassion. I found it quite silly when I was first starting out to just say things in my head. I found that I didn't stick with it. And so I made it a priority to say 3 nice things to myself every single day out loud. If I was having the worst day, I still said them. If I didn't believe them, I still said them. And you can say them with a begrudging attitude as well. If I'm smart, I'm pretty, I'm whatever, and not believe it. It is still going to have an impact on you. Of course, it's great if we can try to say it with a bit more confidence, even though we don't feel that confidence, but just say it anyway. Also, understand that we are human and we make mistakes and we fail at things. That's what makes us human. If you leave no leeway for trial and error, for mistakes, especially on your compassionate journey, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna have slip-ups, you're gonna have days where you're still negative, and that's normal. We don't expect perfection because perfection doesn't exist. So ask yourself, what are you asking of yourself? Are you asking yourself to be perfect? Because if you are, you're gonna fail. The more gratitude you practice, the more joy you're most likely going to bring and have in your life. And sometimes it can just take your mind off of negative thoughts. So if we're having negative thoughts that aren't productive, just try to list 3 things that you're grateful for. It's so hard for me to find negativity in the things that I'm grateful for. So speak about them more. Being grateful for what you have as an individual can also sort of offset any kind of comparison that we might be looking for in other people. Body kindness and kindness in general and positivity, pessimism, these are really huge topics. So if you do want me to talk about them in more depth, or if you do have specific subjects or topics you'd like me to speak about when it comes to treating yourself kindly, how to shift certain things, how to change the way you talk to yourself, if you just have suggestions for isolated videos, please let me know in the comments down below. But I hope you like this video, and I hope it gives you something to think about when it comes to how you treat yourself, how you talk to yourself, how you treat and talk to others, and hopefully some tools that you can apply when it comes to body kindness and self-love. Anyway, thank you so much if you're still here and if you stuck around to the end of this video. It always means so much to me just to have you here. I love chatting with every single one of you. So thank you so much for watching. Leave a kind comment down below if you'd like, and I really hope to see you in my next video. Bye, friends.